A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Friday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. On the show tonight, we'll be looking at the things happening on the domestic scene. We'll be looking at, of course, some of the things on the grassroots. We're talking about calling, we're talking about marathons on the show tonight. And of course, we'll continue with our detailed analysis on what's going on in the Nigeria Professional Football League. And we'll also take a look at what is happening globally. What's the status of Russian athletes? Will they be allowed to continue competing under the neutral flag? We'll talk about all of that as we go on the show. As usual, I'm not alone. My partner, Austin Okonakman, is suited and ready. And of course, we'll take this ride together. Greetings to you, Austin. Feels good to go on this ride again with you tonight.
What a great things to you, Yemi, and special shout out to everyone joining us from different parts of the world. Action-packed world of sports right here in England. It's all about what's going down in the English Premier League. Action will continue, and a lot of people are saying that this is a serious, test of character for Arsenal to see if they can pick themselves back up and show some relevance as they continue their chase for the league title. So we'll talk about that and many more on the show tonight.
Yeah, definitely we will talk about the Arsenal manager already complaining about the timing of the fixture. Whether or not that's an excuse in the bag, we will see. Let's start the show. Charity, they say, begins at home. So, Austin, let's start the show talking about the Abuja marathon. Of course, for the sake of our viewers, let me just quickly let you know about the Abuja marathon. The inaugural edition is what we want to talk about on the show. It has been announced that the event will take place on April 29th. And of course, the Abuja Marathon is sanctioned by the Federal Capital Territory with a course measured and certified by World Athletics. And of course, the management added a 10-kilometer fun race and a 5-kilometer race for the student. About 200 elite runners will participate in the marathon, while the winners will get $55,000. Sometimes you wish you're in line for this kind of money, but it's all good, and we'll see what happens in that one. Let's allow you listen in to a presser to around the tournament. That will come back and talk some more on the Abuja Marathon.
FCT, as we all know, in the past, had not been a sport city. But with programs like this, we are hoping and dragging our feet to ensure that FCT became a sport state like Lagos. We all know what Lagos is all about in terms of sport. The Abuja International Marathon, in terms of preparation at the state level, that is at FCT level, we have gone far.
Our elite field is very strong, and we hope to see us up 2.10 minutes on the race day. Also lined up some incentives for the local elites. And the locals are important here because we not only celebrating the elite runners and athletes, we also want to encourage and bring up the culture of running, or just leisure or recreational running, which is quite big elsewhere. And I know the climate might not be the best for it, but I really truly believe that the public and the youth needs the encouragement of sport, needs the incentives in sport, because sport is great to bring people together, to bring communities together.
All right, so that's it. The organizers confirming the dates for the inaugural edition of the Abuja Marathon. Let's quickly introduce our partner in the Lagos studio. Shegun Vincent joins us now. Greetings to you, Shegun. Thanks for finding out time to be with us on the show tonight.
Fine. I thought you were about to say partner in crime.
No.
By the time this weekend, I hope you received, you and Austin received flowers during the week.
Well, we did.
It's good to be back here and to be on the show with you, Yemi, and of course Mr. Austin, and Austin, I beg your pardon. Just sit back, listen, and enjoy the show, basically.
All right, let's just quickly dive in straight. I'm beginning to like how marathons, short and long distance races, beginning to spring up across, the nation, and it's good. A lot of people argue that Nigerians are not the one cutting away the money, but at least that we're having those races. It might take us a while before we start seeing Nigerians winning, but this event springing up here and there is something that is noteworthy.
Yeah, it's noteworthy, and it's something that we are getting the attention of the media at large, both within Nigeria and outside of Nigeria. Remember the UK marathon that every year it graces, and then the media all over the world carries it on around the world. I think I remember a certain edition that Luis Enrique was a participant in that edition, and an 80-year-old too was in that edition. I think it was I can't remember the year, 2017 or 2016 or so. So we're going to have such lights also in a marathon. Imagine having a marathon, having like also a coach in that marathon, Yemi or Austin, that marathon, who is going to bring a different kind of light into that race itself. And we have seen the success of it in Lagos, and they are moving down to Abuja, and we're coming up in April 29 this year. That is an upward progression, and we hope to see that in other states in Nigeria, at least the states that are, that are safe and secure, like Lagos, Abuja, a couple of other states, so some in the west. It can now then go to other states in Nigeria, and that's a massive boost for the economy. More athletes get to know more, a bigger platform for them to show for their talent all around the world. And another thing we should look at is how we can have Nigerians winning the competition itself, or the marathon itself. I remember, I think some years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago, they started doing 2 classes of the race: the general 10 km and then the ones that they would do, the smaller ones that we have Nigerians just win something. I had a friend that participated in one of those divisions. So it's an open conduct, and for people to participate, have more people to win, and the bigger at least the prize money, you can at least get somebody from Nigeria to win it at least at some point. And at least, but it's a good one without pushing to Abuja, and hopefully we can get it to be done in other states in Nigeria.
All right. I mean, Austin is beaming with a smile because he loves to hear things like this, and I do too. And Shegun has already posed a challenge to you, saying maybe you should participate in the fun event. For those ones, it's just finishing. It doesn't matter what position you come in. But then again, I like the fact that it's spreading like wildfire.
Yeah, it is, and that's really good for the development, of the running culture in Nigeria. You listen to the official, mentioning it right there, that don't just talk about the elites, talk about what this would do in terms of, promoting the fitness culture amongst Nigerians. I love this so much. We've got the Lagos City Marathon. We've got the Coast City Marathon, which was done in Enugu, I think 2-3 years ago. There's also the Ijebu-Ode Road Marathon. There's the Okpekpe International Road Race. And now we have this going on in Abuja. It's pretty good, and that's what we're talking about. That's development. So when it goes around the country this way, people will take it, serious. And on a lighter note, I remember one edition of the Lagos City Marathon I was covering, and you guys laughed at me when I almost passed out, trying to catch up with the pace of those guys. So I'll pass. I won't try to, run anymore. I'll just, do the one that I know how to do, and that's to cover it. But let's move on from running to calling. We've been talking about calling on the show, and we've been saying that what the federation is doing is good for the development of the sport. We're proud at Channel Sports that we've been, beaming our lights on this sport, and, saying well done to everyone that have been putting efforts into it. And now it is yielding fruits. The Nigeria Olympic Committee, the NOC, they have promised massive support for the Curling Federation of Nigeria. And why are they doing this? It is right after the athletes became the first from Africa to qualify for next year's Youth Winter Olympics that will take place in Gangwon, South Korea. 2 curling events are set to be held at Gangwon 2024, with 16 countries competing in the mixed team and 24 in the mixed doubles competitions. I love it. But the NOC Secretary General Tunde Popoola said the Curling Federation will get the necessary funding for its preparations for the Youth Winter Olympics. That's what we're talking about. Let's take a listen to Tunde Popoola talk more about this, and I'll come and take more reactions.
Curling today came in about 6 years ago. They have been very wonderful in terms of grassroots development in particular. They've run courses, they're expanding on a daily basis. And it will surprise you that this is a winter sport, which is coming to this country and is the first in Africa and is the first even to, to qualify, for the Winter Olympics. I mean, that's one good thing. So it shows the strength of which the federation is coming from. The NOC, is in charge of winter sports as well as, the normal summer Olympics. So we won't treat anyone differently. We'll take it on the same level as any other sport. They are a very serious federation. And of course, we will support them whatever way we can. Scholarships, discussing, programs, which are running. We'll attend. We'll even send programs, athletes, if we have in them at a later stage. We support them with equipment. We support them with anything that we get even from Olympic solidarity, like we do every other sport. But I'm sure they are going to get off the ground very fast.
That's what we're talking about. Hard work pays. So now the NOC, they've said, we will support this federation. And Shegun, they are not just supporting the federation because they need to support them. They are supporting them because, according to Tunde Popola, they are a serious federation. They've been working so hard, and it's time for the country to now give them all the support they need.
Okay, I'm sure Shegun didn't get that, but okay. But of course he wanted you to say a thing or two about the things you listen to and how the sport can grow. Yes, in the country.
I love that. I love what he said that regards them supporting, at least getting more athletes. Investing in infrastructure. And that is the way to go. And they also need support from the nation itself, from the sporting sector in Nigeria. That's the only way to go. That's the way we can push athletes, that we can get better. Because, like they say, prior performance prevents they say that the 6 Ps. So the more we perform, the more they practice, the more they get competitions. What we need right now is to start getting smaller competitions from interstate. So that way, athletes get to face other athletes and to test their strengths. Because you cannot know how good your food is until you bring somebody else who's with it. So no matter how poorly cooked that food is, it always tastes right in the person that cooks the food mouth. Oh, yeah. But until you bring the person from outside and say, this food is not sweet or this food is sweet. So in other words, an athlete will never know how good he or she is until they start facing other athletes. So for them right now, you need to get getting more competitions, facing states, interstate, national competitions, state competitions. That way, we'll now know if we are fit to perform against the best of the best at the Olympic level or at the national level or other competitions, as the case may be. And I believe that we are tilting or moving towards that direction, putting the right heads, having the right leaders, like what someone told me, that everything rises and falls on leadership, and he has shown forth the right character, the right attributes, the right mentality, and the right structure and the right intellectual towards moving this sport into a greater head as regards Nigeria, the country.
All right, I guess we can let it slide with that, and hopefully when we hear things about the Curling Federation, it will be good news, just like the things we've been hearing in the days before. Now, all right, let's talk about the Flying Eagles, the under-20 Eagles. Let's talk about their preparation. We call it the under-20 AFCON. And there you have, we're going to show you the fixtures. It's going to come up on your screen. And you're going to see the young lads preparing for the big one. That's the CAF under-20 AFCON. That's the Cup of Nations for the under-20, the age grade. Nigeria has done so well in this competition. It hasn't translated to the global level, but here in Africa, Nigeria is the force to reckon with. And the boys have been preparing for the big one. Let's take a look at what's going to happen on Sunday before we listen to the coach of the team, Ladan Boso. Let's show you what is going to happen on Sunday. And of course, on Sunday, you have it right there on your screen. Of course, host Egypt up against Mozambique, and Senegal will take on Nigeria. And this is what we have. And of course, Shegun, at this level, you really can't say. You look at these teams, you look at sometimes you get confused. When you hear those names, you think about their senior national team. But we have to remind ourselves that we're not talking about the senior national teams. It's the age grade. Nigeria has been very successful here, but in recent times, we've had issues. So, but Ladan Boso has been receiving a lot of praise for what he's doing, especially at the regional level. Now we've gone to Africa as a whole. And a lot of people will say the least expected of this team is to pick a ticket.
Yes, of course. Ladan Boso has doing a tremendous job for the under 20 competition, the under 20 team, facing Senegal on Sunday, and then also having Egypt and Mozambique. These are tough nations. These are nations that you want to, especially Egypt and Senegal, you want to play with them. Senegal is doing a tremendous job right now, all around, both
building
coaches,
a lot of facilities,
both coaches. Sedimani is pumping. Semani is pumping a lot of money into that country as regards football itself. We can't take away the green, white, green too. We have a lot of talents, but structures, like, I know Austin is ready to prepare a lot of, but I feel like Ladan Boso is calling a couple of foreign-based players to play into that side. I think we discussed that last week. I think it was me and you that discussed that last week when we were discussing about the under 20 AFCON. I believe that we should be able to get a result and people book a ticket. And we book a ticket because we believe that we're talented, we have the right coach, the right synergy, the right facilities and everything for us to go to book the ticket. And I believe that hopefully on Sunday we do that.
All right. Okay, so let's quickly listen to the coach of the team, that's Ladan Boso, speak ahead of the match on Sunday. Then, of course, we'll go back to Austin. It'll take us through, of course, what's going to happen with the ladies. But first, let's listen to Ladan Boso, get his thoughts, and we'll move on the show.
And I so much believe that this is a team that we all hope that the nearest future, they are going to be the crop of the Super Eagles team, by the special grace of God. Time with that number, I believe from the beginning of our preparation, from the screening processes before going for the WAFU competition. We have played several matches, and I believe up to date we have not lost any match since that time to date. And I always tell them that I don't want to hear that at last we have lost a match, and I believe that character is in them. And this is a team that will always play better second half, and I hope and believe they will always continue like that. But sometimes it's dangerous to say, okay, we can always win the second half. Sometimes there could be change of situations. The most important thing for us as coaches is to read the game and give the players feedback. And the players, in as much as they will respond to our reading or our request, I think they will always play better. So I so much believe that this is a team with character, that they never give up in any case. Look at the match we played in Abuja against Zambia. The Zambia were all over, but at the end of the day, last 15 minutes, we got our 2 goals. It has always been like that.
All right. So, Austin, you heard him, Ladan Boso there. I mean, always inspires confidence when he speaks, and he's also a very experienced manager. So, your thoughts on this, and of course, before we go on that break, we'll talk about the Super Falcons as well.
I think it's important to sustain the momentum from winning the WAFU B competition, and Ladan Boso said it the other day that that's what they need to do to get their mentality right. I love the fact that he's identifying problems with the team, because when you identify problems, the next step is to look for solutions. You must solve those problems. He said this team plays better in the second half. It's also important that it starts right. Very, very important. So that's something Ladan Boso and his technical team needs to fix. I don't have any worry with this Flying Eagles team. I've watched them and they've shown some good character, particularly that 4-2 win over Zambia. And the NFF did a good thing by taking them to Casablanca in Morocco to prepare for this one in Egypt. They are on a 17-match unbeaten run. You know, those sort of records inspires confidence. So they just need to get into this one with one objective, that 4 teams will qualify for the FIFA Under-20 World Cup, and Nigeria needs to be one. The Flying Eagles, 2-time runners-up, the FIFA World Cup, and 1-time bronze medalists. The record seems to look good for them. So they're just going to find a way, you know, to get it going. I don't know if we've got some more time to talk about the Revelation Cup before we go on a quick break. If we've got some time, let's just quickly take a look at the fixtures for the Revelation Cup. Yemi, you know my stance with women's football, particularly with the Super Falcons. We need to be patriotic, support them because we know we've got the talent, but the technical crew, they need to do better. They need to prove that they know what they are doing, particularly when we are preparing for the World Cup. You know what, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll dive right into the Revelation Cup, give you the fixtures for this weekend, talk about the Super Falcons, and have some more fun on the show. Don't go anywhere. Stay. Welcome back, Sports Tonight on Channels Television. Just before we went on that break, we're talking about the Revelation Cup. It's the first edition. It's taking place in Mexico. The Super Falcons of Nigeria, they're using that tournament to prepare for the FIFA Women's World Cup. Let me also let you know that the team, after losing to Mexico in that first match, recorded their sixth, 6 straight defeats under Coach Randy Wardrum. The last time the Super Falcons won a competitive women's football match was at the African Women's Cup of Nations against Cameroon in July 2022. We'll take a look at the fixtures for Saturday on the Revelation, for the Revelation Cup. Nigeria will take on Colombia, while Mexico will take on Costa Rica. Shegun Vincent, I still love the Super Falcons. I still believe that there can be a turnaround. But with what you've seen of this team, particularly under Coach Randy Wardrum, when they play, does the team excite you?
We've had ups and downs with this team. Like you said, last time we won the game was sometimes mid last year. We've had the team has not really been neither here nor there, but we're in a new year now, and hopefully there's new energy. The team, of course, as Nigerians and as journalists, we always want our country to make us proud or do us proud for competitions. And I believe that on Sunday, we should start the competition with a win. That will therefore boost our confidence, boost the morale of the team, boost the coach's confidence. And I believe that the coaching crew, the technical crew, are working earnestly and working hard to get the team up to beat for the game over on the weekend, and I believe that they can do something as regards that. I know people may have their issues as they get with the coach itself, as approach to games. Sometimes they have their ups, they have their tricky moments, but I believe that towards Sunday we will do that. And I pick that cue from you because you're always very, very optimistic when it comes to our local sports, our local teams, and anything that's involved the green, white, green itself. So I pick that cue from you, and I hopefully on Sunday we get the results.
But not with Randy Wardrum. Anyway, I'm optimistic about Nigeria with every good thing. But with Randy Wardrum, I think it's game over, because the least thing you can display as a coach is cluelessness. You should know your team, so that you can set them up properly. But it is what it is. Hopefully, we'll go to the World Cup and it won't be a disaster. Let's see what they can do against Colombia, and then we'll take it up from there, Yemi.
Yeah, we will. All right, let's move on. I'll probably say the same thing you're saying, so there's no need for repetition, so let's just move on. Let's talk about the Nigeria Professional Football League and what to expect. And, of course, some things that we've heard that are positive news with regards to, we're hearing things about games that we're going to be seeing games on TV, even these bridge seasons, things we are picking from the rumor mill that we might get to see some, that even next season it's probably going to be better. So that's interesting. But first, let's take a look at the fixtures, and that's going to be very interesting, and it's going to come up on the screen in a bit. And there you have it. Let me just quickly run through what we have on the screen. Let me start with what we have on Saturday. And on Saturday, El Kanami Warriors will play against Kwara United. Gombe United will play against Plateau United. That's in Group A. Nasarawa United will be up against Remo Stars in the bridge season. That's in Group A. And also in Group A on Sunday, Bendel Insurance will up against Eyimba. This is going to be very interesting to see what happens in this one. And Shooting Stars will be up against Aqua United. Let's go to Group B. On Sunday, Bayelsa United up against Enugu Rangers. Lobby Stars up against Doma United. Niger Tornadoes up against Dakar FC. Sunshine Stars up against Wiki Tourists. These are the games to expect in Group B. That's on Sunday. The matches to be played. All right, Shagun Vincent, let me get your thoughts before we piggyback to Austin. You're looking at Group B, but then there are also some interesting matches in Group A. Insurance and Imba catches my fancy. But I want to get your thoughts.
For the Group A game, Ekanemi Square United, Go United, Plateau United, Nassau United, Remo Stars. Nassau United, Remo Stars, for me, Remo has shown forth. They're getting to that uprising, they're getting to that, becoming that powerhouse. And in the short time that they've been back, we can see what they are doing, and we should not take our eyes off that team. You know, of course, private owners here and there and all of that. But I think that game for me is very important. I look at that, and of course, the Bender Insurance, Enyimba game, Bender Insurance too. That's another team. You know, they have a lot of wins. Enyimba, they have been here nor there, but they household name. They know what it is like to handle this place. They've been in this place before, so hopefully they get the results in that fixture. In the Group B, Bayelsa United, Enugu Rangers, Lobby Stars, Doma United, Niger Tornadoes, Dakar FC, Sunshine Stars, Wiki Tourists, Bayelsa United, Enugu Rangers. That's a cracker for me. Bayelsa United, they're not minors in the NPFL. Enugu Rangers too. They are almost in that level of aim, but I don't know if we can put them towards in that same classification of that powerhouse. You know, history, wins, both in the continent, out of the continent. Yeah, so then, and this Doma United, they just coming from the second division. So I believe that they know they are, of course,
trying to steady the ship.
But then let's say I pass that with them and Lobby Stars. Those are the two fixtures that are in the Group B for me that are very, very, very integral. Hopefully, the results happen for both teams, for Doma United, and hopefully Enugu Rangers to get their results in that game over the weekend.
Okay, let me go back to Austin. Austin was able to call some of the games last week. He was able to call some games, and they turned out the way that he said it would. But Enyimba and Benel Insurance, I mean, if one had the opportunity to see the game live, that based on what we've seen this season, that's a game anybody will want to see.
I know that's a cracker all day, every day. Both teams have been displaying good form. Bendel Insurance won their last match. They needed to show character against Nasarawa United, and they did just that, winning by a goal to nothing. Enyimba also needed to show supremacy because of what they are seeing Bendel Insurance doing on that Group A table. And that's why on Sunday, that's one game that we should definitely, that will get us talking. And I'm glad that the interim management committee, they've done all they can to put that game on television. Bendel Insurance will stream it. Those of us abroad will be able to watch it and follow it for the love of the game. And if you take a look at that Group A table, should Enyimba win, they will close the gap on Bendel Insurance. Bendel Insurance will try everything they can to ensure they don't lose that match. A draw will do them a lot of good. At the moment, they sit on top of the table with 20 points. Now, Aqua United, Remo Stars, and Plateau United, the three teams have 14 points. They need to try all they can to ensure that they win. Because if you're not winning now, it starts looking tougher because only three teams will get out from the groups. So it's important we put our eyes on that Group A table. But Enyimba, Bendel Insurance will definitely get us talking. And don't even tell me to call that one because I can't. While in Group B, it will be good to see what Rangers can do. They're beginning to get some momentum. Coach Abdul Maikaba, after their second win of the season, said they need to do more. So let's see what they can do. They're seeking their third win of the season. Lobby Stars, remember I told you to be a very difficult match for them against Wiki Tourists. They lost that one by 2-1, but they're still on top of the Group B table. They must find a way to get back to winning ways. Otherwise, if Abia Warriors wins, they will be tied on 16 points, and they will start seeing some competition other Group B table also. But you know what? Why we've been talking about this league this season is because of the amount of funding that was pumped into it. And we said, well done to the IMC. We're still wondering, how did it come about that amount of monies that they even give to clubs? The project director of the Nigerian Football Fund, Nelson, is talking, and he says the objective is to inject more funding into league football in Nigeria. Let's listen to him. We'll be right back.
The next 2 to 3 years, we are going to see significant impact of what we are doing now in the development of the league. In another 5 to 10 years' time, we would have attained some high level of stability in the league, where most things will have very clear directions, the officials, the athletes, and we expect a lot of investors to come into the league, both foreign and local investors. The league at its level now still requires quite a lot to be done to develop it. We are very much aware of that. It requires a lot of funding, and what we've done is to put the structures in place to ensure that there's liquidity in the league, because the league has the capacity to generate a lot of revenues to pay back on those investments, and also to reward all the various types of investors that will invest in the league. Just like every other place in the world, you find out that the sports leagues all over the world, after some time, after they've passed the initial stage, are always very sustainable, and the brand continues to grow, the revenues continue to grow. It will grow because population is growing. As far as population is growing, there will be more demand of people to want to consume that sport, and it will attract a lot of followership. As the league continues to attract followership, the value begins to grow.
Totally agree with everything Mr. Nelson talked about. We must create the right environment to make football a business, because nobody will put their money into something when they're not sure of what they're getting, in return. So shout out to everyone involved in ensuring that football in Nigeria is profitable, because Shegun, the football is right now. We love it. We know we've got talent. We're seeing beautiful game. What is remaining for Nigeria and our league football now is for it to be treated as a business and let it start enjoying some good dividends.
Well, structures are very, very important. And one of the structures is, first of all, let's look at how can viewers get to watch this game. The reason why we have more EPL fans, a lot of EPL fans in Nigeria, is because of the sponsorship deal and ability to get all around the world. How can we get the NPFL to be watched on local stations, not just on YouTube or some platform? Because you have to pay for data to watch those games. Would you, as a Nigerian fan or as a fan who loves football, rather pay data to watch an NPFL game, or rather pay data to watch an EPL game, or pay data to watch an NPFL game and watch your EPL on your local TV? So these are issues you have to look at. So how can you get it to be more interesting, more exciting, get adverts, get good commentators, of course, I know that in that area, a couple of people have been doing an immense job. What the idea is that we have to sell the league to a standard as the foreign leagues. It may not be as good as those leagues, but be a standard. One of the reasons why the Egyptian League, the Moroccan League, South African League has been supposedly pushed in a certain way, because it has a well packaged as regards the commentators, the branding. These are issues we need to work on. If it doesn't, no matter how talented the players are, even if it's audio or what they are playing, if it's not well packaged, people may or will not want to watch it because it's not part of the branding itself. And that's where we have to look at. Until that has been done, we will have fine teams, Eyimba, playing fine football, but people will not want to watch it because of it's not being properly branded, and that's what we have to look at.
Okay, I hope the authorities are listening, because you've said everything, and I had to allow you to land. All right, with the few minutes we have, let's take a look at what's going to happen over the weekend in the English Premier League. Let's take a look at it and see what will happen. And there you have it on your screen. On Saturday, Aston Villa will take on Arsenal. Brentford will take on Crystal Palace. Brighton will take on Fulham. Chelsea will take on Southampton. Still on Saturday, Everton will take on Leeds United. Nottingham Forest will take on Manchester City. Wolverhampton Wanderers will take on Bournemouth. And of course, Newcastle United will take on Liverpool. It's going to be very interesting. And on Sunday, Manchester United will be up against Leicester City. Tottenham Hotspur will be up against West Ham United. Those are the fixtures for the weekend. That's probably going to be all we're going to be able to take, because we're pressed for time. But I want to ask you, in a minute, and you have to make it fast, your pick for the weekend and what will likely happen.
Manager bounce. Leeds lost to Man U over the weekend. I think Everton, they had a fair result in the weekend. So I want to see how both teams will pan out. I also want to see how Arsenal are going to bounce back against Aston Villa. Arsenal like a wounded lion now. So let's see how it pounds out for Arsenal for those two teams. And of course, Chelsea, since their Bullion Van exploits, they are yet to win a game.
Okay.
So hopefully they get to win a game.
All right.
Against another team who also have a new coach too. So it's just a bit of insights on
it's going to be very interesting. Trust me. All right, let's see if we can get Austin's take on this one as we move on. Also, Austin, as you know, as always, we're pressed for time. But if you can do a wrap in 30 minutes, in 30 seconds. I almost said minutes.
Let's keep it around three teams. You know, Arsenal, they need to show character. They need to show more intent, you know, make their fans smile again. And the trip to Villa Park is a tricky one. So they need to prove that they can bounce back and contest for the league title. Arsenal fans, on the other hand, will be rooting for Nottingham Forest, but that's a difficult, trip for Manchester City because Nottingham Forest, they've stunned Liverpool this season. But let's talk about Leicester City and their current form. They crushed Tottenham in their last match, and they will be going to Old Trafford. Eric Ten Hag is looking forward to that. Let's listen to him.
We're following it's our club, and of course we are committed, but we are focusing on football, on training, and our way of play, on games. That is what we are focusing, and we really enjoy it in the moment in togetherness, and it's enjoyable to work. And we are focusing on games, and we have 4 leagues. So others in the clubs will have to take decisions, give efforts in that process, but it's not up to us. No, the judge that will say from the start, they informed me how the process was going, but so there we make out. I focus on football, they are focusing on in other departments of the club, how to get everything, for instance, financed.
So that's it. Eric Ten Hag, I'm looking forward to that game against Leicester City. It's going to be a tricky one. Another tricky tie is Chelsea and Southampton. And Yemi, I've told people today that if Chelsea don't win that game, let us call for the solemnization of holy matrimony between Chelsea and Graham Potter if they don't sack him.
Okay. All right. I guess we're pressed for time. We won't be able to talk about World Athletics. Probably we'll save that for another time. World Athletics, they're going to be, of course, reviewing the status of Russian athletes. Of course, They have fulfilled all the conditions for them being reinstated, but the war is currently going on, and that will factor into the decisions that will be made by World Athletics. We'll probably talk about that next week. Austin, as always, we're pressed for time, and we got to go.
Yeah. And some top, sports personalities are saying, look, don't reinstate Russia no matter what. We'll wait to see what will come out of that one. That's the show. Thank God it's Friday. In London, I'm Austin Okonakwan. In everything you do, remember, let's keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, Shango Vincent, I also want to thank you for your time on the show. Hopefully, we'll do this again some other time.
Yeah, hopefully. And then hopefully after the show, you show me the flowers you received on Tuesday.
Okay. All right. That's a good place to leave it on the show tonight. I hope you enjoyed what we've been able to bring to you. You see us again next week. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.